Today we are looking deeper into the 2016 presidential election, millennials and their fear of interviews, and exploring some new rules part of on-campus biking. It's all next on Buckeye TV. Hello, and thank you for joining us at Buckeye TV. I'm Devin Getz.
And I'm Mike Kuntz. Devin, you're looking a bit shiny today. Not used to wearing so many layers?
Well, it's been quite the warm fall. I surely thought I would be cooled off by November, but I'm just starting to realize that triple layering in between classes may be a bit excessive.
Interesting. We have a great show today, so let's get started.
The 2016 election results are in. Donald Trump is going to be the 45th president of the United States. Some are saying the nation is in its most divided state since the 1960s. Yesterday at Ohio State, a peaceful anti-Trump protest turned violent when a student was pushed down the Ohio Union stairs by another student. There is no confirmation on who the student supported during the election. However, the incident did lead to major speculation on the man's political ideology.
Many students went out to vote across campus on Election Day, and our own Buckeye TV reporter Ella was there to cover the historic day.
This historical election season is finally coming to an end, and students are flocking to the Union to cast their vote and have their voices be heard. The election season was an exhausting time for many, and on November 8, 2016, Americans cast their vote to elect the 45th President of the United States. Perhaps some of the most thoughtful votes came from college campuses where students felt they could make a change.
Definitely important to vote. I mean, when you look at such a controversial election as this, you see this is one of the most important elections that we'll ever be a part of. And me, as a 21-year-old kid, this is the first election that I've ever been able to fully vote in, and it's pretty cool to be a part of.
Other students stressed the importance of political involvement.
It's just the easiest way to be politically active and really invest in your future here on a local and federal level.
What issues did some students believe to affect their generation the most?
For me, a big issue is the environment, because that's something that's going to continue to impact us and come to the forefront, whether we want it or not, through natural disasters and climate change. So that's an issue that's close to me, but I think for a lot of students, public education and secondary education is a big one.
For Buckeye TV, I'm Gabriella DiGiovanni.
The city of Columbus is now considering raising the age to buy tobacco products to 21. According to the U.S. Surgeon General, 90% of smokers begin their habits by age 18. Officials say this ban would decrease the number of new smokers and prevent the start of lifelong addiction.
Some are claiming the election to be the most divided in history among political parties. Buckeye TV's Braden Hyde caught up with students on campus to hear their reactions.
There's no denying that the results of this past election were surprising. I spoke with some students on campus to gather their feedback and thoughts on how things will play out here in the near future.
So I was actually very much surprised with the results of the election. I'm not particularly a fan of Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, but I expected Hillary Clinton to probably pull through. So the upsets in Florida, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania were certainly surprising.
Obviously, I'm heartbroken, but the fight is not over. It's just begun. A lot of students on campus are rallying to protest this. We're going to push change, we're going to push reform, we're going to push revolution.
Some students are more optimistic than others.
Well, I'm trying to stay as optimistic as possible, obviously. There's not really much of a track record to base off of, so I say we give them a chance and just see what happens. There's a bunch of checks and balances, so I don't see anything really getting out of hand too much, so that's my stance on it.
Well, there's definitely a lot of mixed opinions here on Ohio State's campus. As far as the future, only time will tell. For Buckeye TV, I'm Braden Hyde.
Coming up after the break, we'll hear about the new rules on Ohio State's campus affecting bike riders.
Zaxter, Ohio State's bike share service, has recently underwent new changes. Let's go out to Joe Henson to see how this will impact Ohio State's bike riders.
Zaxter has recently upgraded the locking mechanism on their bikes, claiming that it will be faster and easier for students to lock up. Let's take a look at how this new system works. First, the rider enters in a 4-digit code, which corresponds with the bike, into the Zaxter app on their smartphone. Then, you enter in the code that the app comes back with onto a keypad on the back of the bike. Once you hear a clicking noise, you can remove the cord from the locking mechanism on the bike. And then you're ready to ride. Junior Bob West has been happy with the service so far and is excited for the new upgrade to the system.
That wire's really thick and it's really easy. And instead of having to handle a really bulky U-lock, I just punch in my code and I whip out the thing and I'm done.
However, not all students are happy with the new service.
The new ones are kind of a hassle, and I'm not really used to them, you know. The U-locks were really comfortable.
So while students may have different opinions on this new locking system, it looks like it's going to be here to stay. For Buckeye TV, I'm Joe Henson.
Looking for a place to showcase your artistic abilities? Check out this small local art studio right here in Columbus, Ohio. Marisha Gibson has the story.
Just less than 2 miles from campus, Studio 614 is an art studio that offers a variety of activities for people of all ages.
It was inspired by the area code 614 for Columbus, Ohio. And I think because Columbus is the only city that I visited a couple times and fell in love with, like right off the bat, and knew that I wanted to live there. Every other city I was infatuated with for sure that I lived in, and I loved getting to know those cities, but Columbus, it was just like, I really felt inspired by the city itself and the art world and the culture and the food, everything.
With no experience needed, Studio 614 welcomes people of all skill levels, offering many different classes for those to choose from.
We offer painting classes and Pinterest parties, private events for bachelorettes, birthdays, any kind of celebration, or just a date night out. So it's all for beginners, meaning that nobody needs any sort of previous experience in the arts to be able to join a class. It's really just for fun. So.
Located just outside of campus, Studio 614 provides a place for college students to take part in artistic activities.
Well, college students sometimes need a break from exams and school and just like going to the same places all the time, or the mall, shopping, anything like that. So I think this is just an alternative night out for anyone, including college students.
Reporting for Buckeye TV, I'm Marisha Gibson.
You know, Mike, it's really hard sometimes to get students to agree to interview with us. It makes us sad. Morgan Clark explores the hesitation students have towards interviewing.
Hi, do you mind being interviewed for Buckeye TV?
After interviewing students for Buckeye TV this semester, one thing is certain. College students do not like to be interviewed.
Being interviewed? Guys, please. Sorry, I'm
exhausted.
Oh, you're fine. It's okay.
Have a good day.
Thanks, you too.
I'm sorry, I'll be back later.
If I ask you a few questions for Buckeye TV?
After countless rejections, I finally got answers.
Well, I think part of it is, you know, that they're always in a rush and, you know, trying to get from place to place. And a lot of times it's really spontaneous and they're not ready for it. And they're like, oh no, like, you know what I mean?
They don't want to go outside of their comfort zone. So when being interviewed, they don't know what's going to happen. And if they don't know what's going to happen, there's a mindset that we could fail.
Nowadays, people are always on their phones or even pretending to be on their phones. Who knows if they're listening to music or just avoiding human contact.
Hi, do you guys mind being interviewed for Buckeye TV? Sorry, we're on our way to class. That's fine. Have a good day.
The classes were already in session.
You know, I'll say, oh, I'm late for a class, sorry, or, you know, I'm in a rush. Which I think is valid for a lot of people.
Real news stations do not seem to have these problems. After being on the Oval for 15 minutes, 10 TV already had 2 interviews. Could it be that they are not nearly as awkward as I was?
I think most people are okay with getting interviewed unless it's a topic they don't feel comfortable with. But most of the time if someone says they're too busy, we just move on and find somebody else. There's a lot to choose from, so it's not too big of a deal.
As you can see, there are countless reasons to why millennials do not want to be interviewed. I'm Morgan Clark with Buckeye TV.
One of the subjects of the Netflix hit Making a Murderer has been released from prison. Brendan Dassey will be freed under the supervision of the probation office.
Also in the news, President-elect Donald J. Trump has picked Reince Priebus to be his White House chief of staff, and Steve Bannon, Trump's campaign CEO, to be his chief strategist and senior counselor. More and more college students have mental issues. However, many of them have not sought any help How much knowledge do people know about college students' mental health? Sky has the story.
1 in 4 college students suffers from mental problems. 60.5% college students felt lonely in the last year. Mental health of college students has been an important topic. How will mental problems influence their life?
Depression and anxiety, I think those are the most common ones that people might be afraid to do things that they would have done normally. They'll withdraw from activities and they'll sleep more, and their grades will drop and their overall quality of life will suffer. So it's a big deal.
And it tends to make them more antisocial and not really want to be around other people necessarily.
Even in sort of their housing or living situations, so if they're living in the residence halls, their mental health issues can cause a disturbance to themselves, but also to the other people around them. And then if they're living off campus, there's a risk if someone's living alone and nobody knows that they're struggling.
What are the reasons that college students have mental health problems?
Well, I'm a genetics major, so I like to think that a lot of it is passed down through genes and everything, but I think there's a lot to be said about stress factors in people's lives and the situations they're going through.
There's pressure put on by parents and the society in general to do well, and it's difficult to do well sometimes.
How can we fight against mental problems?
If you're feeling stressed or you're feeling that your mental health is really becoming an issue, don't be afraid to ask for help because people are always willing to give it.
People just need to be accepting of everyone and just be good friends and just be supportive.
Try to include them more maybe and be mindful of their situation.
All our services are free. We have individual therapy, of course. We also have a group program, so we offer about 30 groups every semester. We also offer psychiatry services, so a small percentage of our students also need medication in addition to therapy. But the biggest thing that we offer is we offer 2 drop-in workshops during the week. And these cover a variety of topics, beating depression, anxiety, yoga for mental health, mindfulness, perfectionism, those sorts of topics. And these are free for any students. They don't have to sign up. They don't even have to be a client. They can just show up for these workshops. And so a lot of students like to first try the workshop before they counseling.
Many college students are having mental problems because of different reasons, such as study pressure and relationship problems. The student's entire life can be influenced by those mental problems. Counseling and consultation service on campus can help students on this issue. This is Sky He from Buckeye TV.
Coming up next, a look into Michigan Week preparations. The Ohio State Buckeyes will face their biggest test yet as they take on the Michigan Wolverines in less than 2 weeks. Mike Kuntz has the story.
It's almost that time of the year, Buckeye fans. No, not the holidays. I'm talking about the game. The rivalry between Ohio State and Michigan football is one of the most storied in all of sports. The Buckeyes have won 9 of the last 10 meetings and hope to continue that trend on November 26. With only 2 weeks till the Buckeyes take on that team up north, students are gearing up for the big game.
I'm really excited. I have a couple of friends who go to Michigan, and funny enough, my last 2 choices for picking schools were Michigan and Ohio. So being at Ohio State and falling in love with it, I'm really excited to play Michigan and beat them hopefully.
It's a lifelong tradition. It's going to be a little interesting because they lost just recently, so it's going to be harder for us to make an upset. But it should be an exciting game nonetheless.
Along with the game comes the annual Michigan Hate Week. Students across campus participate in many different activities to show their love for Ohio State and this rivalry. With the closing of the Mirror Lake Jump this year, Hate Week may be a little different than usual.
We have a ton of other traditions that we can rely on as far as making this week awesome and school spirited and stuff.
So I've heard a few alternative things to the jump, but I mean, I'm sure it'll still be just as fun.
The game is sure to live up to the hype this year as a spot in the college football playoffs hangs in the balance. There's a lot on the line for these 2 teams, so be sure to catch the game on November 26th at noon. I'm Mike Kuntz reporting for Buckeye TV. Learning English is one thing, but it's the skill of having a fluid conversation that takes practice. One program here at OSU helps those ESL students build conversation skills. Here's Hannah with the story.
The Global Engagement Department of the College of International Affairs presented a social sips event earlier this week in an effort to raise awareness for its English conversation program. In exchange for a free hot drink, people could have a conversation with someone new. I'm Hannah Herner, and this is Buckeye TV.
Juju on the Beat is a dance craze taking over America. The catchy tune and easy-to-learn dance move makes it fun for everyone to enjoy. Kaylin's got the moves with her story.
It's the contagious dance craze that's been buzzing all over social media. Juju on that Beat has two stepped from the pages of YouTube right here to the students at The Ohio State University.
I first heard and saw the Juju dance on Instagram. It was on the popular page.
I do enjoy pop culture quite a bit, and when it first came out, I was very interested, and then I got the hang of it, and about like 5 minutes later, I'm doing the Juju every single moment I get.
My friends, literally everyone was doing it. I would walk down the oval and see people like doing it, and my housemates are doing it, and just everyone I knew was doing it. So I asked them what it was, and I had to learn it because it was so popular.
I just love to sometimes come back home from school and get some money with some of my boys. You know, that's just the daily.
So what exactly is the Juju, and what especially makes it a crowd favorite? I asked these students what they loved most about the Juju.
I would say the Running Man is my favorite part of the dance, probably because it's the easiest to do, I would say, and it's a lot of fun.
My favorite part of the dance is easily when you slide and then you drop it. Because it's, I don't know, you gotta drop it really hard, you know what I'm saying?
Students here at The Ohio State University watch, learn, and love the dance. It seems that this dance isn't going anywhere but viral. I'm Kaylin Chang with Buckeye TV.
It's getting chilly in Columbus, but thankfully we have Morgan Clark to help us prepare for the winter to come.
Hi, I'm Morgan Clark. As he said, currently it's 47 degrees Fahrenheit with wind chill of 45, mostly sunny, and it looks like it's going to be sunny for the rest of the day. Current radar showing just that. Nothing really going on in Ohio. We take a look. Nothing really coming up our way. We do have some showers are going to turn into some snowstorms, but that's up in the Dakota region, which will not affect us. Now, we will get some showers later on this weekend, but we'll take a look here later. Today, 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Average is about 51, so we're just about a little bit above average. I wouldn't say warm, but mostly sunny, so we'll feel that sun, hopefully not too windy with the 7-mile-per-hour winds. Now, the week ahead, we've got some fall temperatures, a clear week, but then once we get into the weekend, we've got a chance for showers on Friday night and Saturday. Now tonight, 41 degrees, partly cloudy, 3 to 5 mile per hour wind, so not too bad. Now as we move on into tomorrow, 8 a.m., we're starting off at 41 degrees, so again, you're going to want to grab that jacket, partly cloudy, 3 mile per hour wind, so not too bad. Clouds clear up a little bit at noon, 54 degrees. We move on to mostly sunny. Winds pick up just a little bit. Now, as we get to 5 p.m., the sun sets at 5:15, so it's going to get pretty dark pretty soon thanks to daylight savings time. I know when I got out of my 5:05 class, it was pretty dark, so just keep that in mind. Game day forecast as we take on Michigan State. In East Lansing, it's 44 degrees if you're traveling over there. I don't know why the moon is up because it is a noon game, so my bad. But 30% chance of showers, breezy, and pretty cold, but we're still going to beat them because they're not good this year. Now, as we look on to the next week, Again, fall temperatures. Now we do heat up on Friday, 70-degree high. Our lows are in the 40s. But once we get into Saturday, we got 53. Chance of showers, about 40%. And as I said, this tiny little lettering here, a 40% chance of showers on Friday night now, or 30% now. Saturday, the showers, and we're going to get to about freezing as a low, but no snow, just showers. Back to you guys.
The Black Friday Madness is just weeks away, but are students actually going out and shopping? Devin Getz has the story.
Black Friday is a huge transition in the United States that has been around since 1932. Taking place the day after Thanksgiving, this day is full of awesome deals at stores everywhere and begins in the late evening of Thanksgiving and goes until the late evening on Friday. Stores put extended hours into place and people camp out of the store hours before they open. I spoke with students to see how they felt the internet was impacting Black Friday.
I wouldn't say it's ruining it. I'd say it's enhancing it because it's giving people other options instead of having to go out and deal with traffic.
I think it is. I like to start at like a week or so after.
People don't have to go out to do it.
There's not as many people who go out to do it. They can just do it from home.
I would say starting any time before 8 o'clock on Thanksgiving night is starting too early because, everybody deserves to have a chance to spend Thanksgiving with their family. So I would say anything too early is just annoying.
I think Thanksgiving should be family time, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a holiday.
Honestly, never gone Black Friday shopping. We usually just hang out at the house and we just spend time with family, so that's what I do on my Black Friday.
Well, I took my friend staying with me from Mexico one time Black Friday for shopping, and she'd never seen anything like it.
They're crazy rush of people rushing into the stores.
I went to the King of Prussia Mall, and I almost got tackled in an American Eagle.
Black Friday shopping has remained a critical part in America for the last decade, evolving more and more every year. However, over the last few years, the in-person shopping has decreased and more have turned to shopping online. I'm Devin with Buckeye TV. That's it for this week on Buckeye TV. Go Bucks and remember to spread love this week. I'm Devin.
And I'm Mike. See you next time, guys.